You're watching my favorite YouTube channel. I go by the name of Chillmonger. This is the 5th time I'm going to be talking Recast T'Challa. This is T'Challa. This is T'Challa. This is T'Challa. This is not T'Challa. This is T'Challa. This is not T'Challa. This is T'Challa, not T'Challa. See, there's a difference between the actor who plays him and the character himself. It's a difference that I can differentiate. It's something that Nate Moore admittedly could not. This is a response to something that he said about a month ago from right now that I didn't cover yet. You've heard the interview, I'm sure, on the Ringerverse podcast. I'll respond to everything he says bit by bit. Firstly, he goes, he's being quite honest.
You will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe. We couldn't do it.
If you don't know, the 616, that's the main continuity in comic books because they're doing shows like What If, where there is a T'Challa who gets abducted by Yondu. So he felt that it was necessary to just say that in the main universe. That's why he used the word 616. It does have an actual number, 199999. That's actually the universe that the MCU is supposed to be. He used the wrong number. He goes on to continue and says that we just couldn't do it. It was so recent to his death where this decision was made. An emotional decision was made for I guess 10 more years of the MCU. I don't know how much more longer they'll go before they reboot and literally everyone will be casted. And I'm pretty certain, you never know, but I'm pretty certain that's when they'll do a recast for sure. And they'll have no problems with that one, with doing that recast. But I guess for the next 10 years, we're not getting the most iconic black superhero that's ever existed because emotions, because he couldn't separate himself from the situation, look at it objectively and say, wait a minute, black people, wait a minute, this is going to be important. I can't believe Nate Moore said these things. I remember like 2 videos ago, I go, Nate Moore must have not been in the boardroom during that decision. He must have been on vacation, but it turns out this is him and he talks about it as if there was no other option. As if, look, the Black Panther movie is going to happen. There's this underlying notion like that this movie was always going to happen. It was never thought about like, oh, well, since the main actor of the movie called Black Panther and he is the Black Panther died, he plays the Black Panther, we can't do a Black Panther movie. That never crossed their mind. It was like, we got this IP that made $1.3 billion in the box office, not to mention toys and merchandise and every other thing that comes. Toys and merchandise is the same thing. I meant to say apparel and toys. Could have just said merchandise. Not to mention everything that comes with the popularity of this character and the long-term effects of this character being a household name. We have this $1.3 billion movie that did that. You gotta have a sequel. Like they didn't think that through. It's just a money grab. Now with this, it's just a money grab mentality. They go, what are we gonna do here? Don't have a main character. And that never seemed like an obstacle at all. He's gonna call it a challenge later on in this interview, but like smarten up, guys. It's almost like you don't care about the main character. It's almost like all of your needs are being satisfied by an all black cast. It's like you go in there with this checkbox of go, well, okay, maybe we don't have the main character, but it's like gonna be filled with people of color and minorities, right? We're gonna have a strong female characters. This movie's fine. That's probably how they look at it. We criticize people like that all the time here. They know we criticize them that way, and the actions forward that criticism like they support it. Continuing his interview, he says,
I mean, I will say when Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler about what do we do, and it was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks, it was minutes of we have to figure out how to move this franchise on without that character.
He says it was a real conversation we had with Coogler. So it's not just Nate Moore. Pretty positive Kevin Feige was part of that conversation too with Coogler. Ryan Coogler is the director of Black Panther. And it was a fast conversation. You know what that sounds like to me? You ever see a parent who's got a kid who was born from an unplanned pregnancy, and he tells that kid, the doctor said we could have had an abortion, but we said no way, we didn't even entertain that idea. It's like you want to get points because of how quickly you came to this decision. That's what this reminds me of. Nah, we got loyalty to T'Challa. Well, actually, I effed up, but that's the way that they see it. Like Chadwick and T'Challa are one and the same. It feels like this guy's trying to score points for a poor decision, a rapid decision that's going to have long effects on everybody here who watches this franchise, the Marvel franchise, not just the Black Panther itself. And he continues on and doubles down on what he feels Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa represents together.
because I think we all feel so much of T'Challa in the MCU on the screen, not in comics, right? Is tied to Chadwick's performance. Is what he brought to that role, both on and off screen, I would argue. So as hard as it is narratively to figure out what to do, because it's a big hole, at no point did we consider recasting him.
He uses the word because, as we learn in school, because is the answer to the question why. So it's great because we feel that the role of Chadwick and T'Challa is so much tied to Chadwick's performance on and off the screen. This is so far from the truth. He almost addresses how, yeah, just the movie version, not the comic book version, as if he doesn't want the sales of that to be affected. I don't know why he would do that, but it's almost like the truth is seeping in, where he realizes there is a separation between the king of Wakanda, the Black Panther warrior, the man named T'Challa, the actor Chadwick Boseman. These are four separate entities. One can go, one can no longer be, and the other three should be fine. He could not be king, but T'Challa could be playing the Black Panther warrior by Chadwick Boseman, which was what we got in Civil War. And then we get to the Black Panther film where he is the king, he is the warrior. It is Chadwick Boseman playing it, and the guy named T'Challa wears all of those descriptors. There's four different people here. So he says that it's because of that reason we couldn't separate them off the screen. What he did off the screen was not there. I see T'Challa for 2 hours in a film, whether it's Civil War, whether it's Infinity War, whether it's Black Panther War. They're all T'Challa. I see him when Chadwick Boseman plays him. When it's not, I see Chadwick Boseman because Chadwick Boseman had other roles. He had other roles. When his family sees that man, they don't go, "Oh, Wakanda forever." They actually see the guy who they know. Family is really important here because that was the. We'll get to that part. We'll get to that part. But that was like it's disrespectful. His family who doesn't want the recasting. I've never seen a report contrary to that until now, until today. Further, with his interview, he also says
So the challenge for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is telling a story without T'Challa. And I think it's a challenge we're up for, and obviously we're in the middle of it and we're figuring it out. And it's so far, I think what we're getting is great. But the challenge of the movie, I think, is to entertain people. But there will be a level of, I think, catharsis and people coming back to this universe without that guy, because that guy and that universe, to me, are one and the same. So as filmmakers and storytellers, you have to figure out how people are going to feel going into your movie and what you want that movie to say about that guy who's not going to be in your movie.
how I feel going into that movie is I might not go into that movie. I don't want to fund this. I'd love if you would recast the T'Challa, which you're not doing for this movie. And I swallowed that pill a while ago and I was upset with it. Then I've seen stories, leaks. Mind you, they are definitely leaks. Take them, if I'm going to take them 100% serious, I'm turned off if you're going to actually kill T'Challa. Ugh. I can't fly with that. That's something I don't want to pay money to see. I'd rather have your movie flop so you can go, oh, maybe we could recast. But it feels like from this interview, it's like a solid no, we're not recasting. Kevin Feige, remember in the Disney Plus day from 2020, said we're not going to recast. And I'm like, well, it doesn't seem like it's permanent. From Nate Moore's interview that we just heard, it sounds like we will not see him in the 616 in the MCU. Then I don't want to help this movie. I want this movie to make less than what Black Widow just made and Eternals and Shang-Chi. I want this movie to be a flop because you're depriving us, me the fan, you're depriving me. This is how I feel. Of a hero who's the greatest black superhero of all time. Period. A hero who Chadwick Boseman portrayed and worked really hard on making a household name, and bringing him to the top tier, where he is standing next to Captain America and Black Widow, and he's talking to Proxima Midnight at the bubble during Infinity War because he's just that important, and it fits. And they did this. The top 10 Marvel characters prior to 2018 did not feature the Black Panther. It does now. Not solely because of Chadwick Boseman. Everyone contributed to that movie. Partly because of Chadwick Boseman's performance and everything he brought. And I feel it would be disrespectful to have it end, to have somebody create something, he dies, and so does the thing he created. That did not happen with Apple when Tim Cook, no, that's not his name. Well, when Steve Jobs passed away. That didn't happen there. There's no other place that happens to. That doesn't happen with superheroes ever. To quote Emmanuel, now I'm going to misquote him. He says the quickest way to kill a legend is to stop telling his story. I can't agree with that anymore. Now, if Chadwick Boseman himself said, no, don't recast the character or anything to the sort, okay, cool, I get it. I understand where this is coming from. But where it's coming from right now is this attachment that is artificial. No, at no point in time did he say anything. Let's go to his family. Let's read what Derek Boseman said. Derek would be the brother of Chadwick Boseman. Last we heard of him, he said something about he doesn't think that Hollywood wants the image of a black man being king in a movie. It's pretty woke. TMZ. He'd want T'Challa role recast, according to Chadwick's bro. The Black Panther fans have spoken, saying Chadwick Boseman's beloved character should be recast going forward, and believe it or not, the man's own brother concurs. Chadwick Boseman's bro, Derek Boseman, tells TMZ, yes, he does think T'Challa needs to live on the Black Panther franchise, and if that means tapping another actor to portray the King of Wakanda, the role Chadwick made famous and legendary, then so be it. Yeah, so be it if another actor gets the opportunity to portray the greatest black superhero in film. Here's the thing. Derek tells us he believes his sibling would have wanted with this too, explaining Chadwick thought T'Challa was bigger than just himself as one guy. Wow. It's almost like everything people who were on the Recast T'Challa bandwagon have been saying is true. It's almost like that's consistent with the man Chadwick Boseman. It's almost like he wouldn't want to stifle or block the opportunity for an actor to become a household name just like himself. It's frankly, Derek says that Chadwick knew the power of the character and the positive influences it carries. Derek says there's so much power in seeing a Black King, especially in a superhero capacity, like in the Marvel flick, which was a huge impact on African American youth. I hate that word African American. Just say American born, dark skinned folks with lineage that ties to the West African slave trade. Just say that. African American. Killmonger was an African American. Derek Boseman tells us with Marvel killing off that character so quickly in the wake of Chadwick's death, they're kind of depriving black kids of a role model. Epic. As you know, there's a major push among the Recast T'Challa fans amid all the speculated drama with Letitia Wright. Yeah, it is speculated drama because, according to the Hollywood Reporter, she is going to be back in January and she's going to be shooting her scenes. She's able to travel to America, it looks like, according to the Hollywood Reporter. You know, according to their sources, maybe they're being lied to. But so far, the Letitia Wright drama is that she got injured on set and she couldn't make it back yet. That's all, as far as we know. Derek says there aren't a whole lot of positive influences for young black children these days. He thinks hip hop glorifies certain social ills. Social ills, I would agree with that. And Marvel has a chance to counteract that by bringing T'Challa, who he sees as a symbol of black people's potential. That is exactly what he is. The guy speaks from experience, telling us his own nephew has told the family he wants to be a scientist and cites Black Panther as his inspiration. Great news. He does note that Chadwick never explicitly expressed his wishes before his death. You know why? Let me theorize. I believe if I was in the situation that Chadwick Boseman was, I wouldn't want to think negatively like, what if I'm no longer here? That's a theory. And if it's wrong for me to say that, then I apologize to anyone listening who that may offend. But I would imagine so. but he never expressed his wishes, either for or against a recasting. This is all something that you in your head is speculating. You as the as Nate Moore or as the people who don't want him to be recast because you have this attachment. That's on you. He said before his death about what should happen with the character, but Derek's sure his bro would agree T'Challa should live on in the MCU. So what we have is the closest possible human being to Chadwick Boseman saying Chadwick Boseman would want a recast. I want to hear from the wife, the estate, and if then it's over. Now, is it her top priority to go talk to a Hollywood, do an interview to say recast T'Challa? No, she's got real life issues to worry about. And I'm not like it took a year and some change to get this from Derek Boseman. I'm sure they're still grieving and love and respect to the family. But this was nice to hear. I'll take it. I'll take it no matter how long it took to get it. Recast T'Challa. Black superhero, dark skinned, morena, in a world where all the top characters look this way. It was white skin here, white skin there. Great human being, great white characters, great actors, no hate towards them. However, a young, impressionable person might view superhero, the occupation, as a white thing. This great thing we aspire to, or the best among us, happen to all be white, the top tier characters. Like most of them happen to be white. And the black characters are sidelined. They're Disney Plus. They are less profiled, less showcased, highlighted less than the white guys. But then we got this guy, this Black Panther character named T'Challa, who made it, and we can't get him no more because of an attachment Nate Moore, Kevin Feige, Ryan Coogler have with the actor. I hope they do not end T'Challa in this movie. I hope that the plot allows for T'Challa to return in the next movie or the next cameo appearance in an Avengers movie. Whether the next thing they do is called Black Panther or not, maybe in a Disney Plus show. Let's let's have the door open for this because Marvel's gonna go a really long time. They have no plans on stopping and rebooting. A really long time. And it would be nice to have the greatest black superhero in the history of black superheroes in that universe. Recast T'Challa Part 5. Sub to the channel here. Go watch me talk Hawkeye with Trinity on his YouTube channel this Wednesday. 1 second. It's your girl. She says Recast T'Challa. I'm Chillmonger. Bye.